webinar now because you just reminded me to actually start the recording. So thank you for that, Fernando. So there will be a replay. Luckily, we didn't miss anything out there. So yeah, welcome everyone to the webinar. Today we're going to be focusing on the membership system. We launched this at the end of February, 28th of February. It went live into the app, and that's about 3 weeks away now. So hopefully you've had a chance to, play around with it, maybe create a test membership site and just see how things are working. If so, then, that's perfect. You might be familiar with what I'm going to show you. If not, then I'm going to show you all about it today. So we'll cover how to create a membership site, how to connect it to a Convertri product, and how to start selling that as well. And I'm also going to show you, firstly, how to set up the funnel for selling your membership site. So we'll go for a simple opt-in to thank you page to sales page funnel to sell the site. And then we'll show you creating the site in Convertri, attaching it to a product. Then once we finish with the demo, I'll go through what's next for membership sites. So we have got quite a lot of features in the pipe that we're going to be releasing over the next sort of weeks and months. We're going to keep improving like we always do here at Convertri. And then after that, I'll take your suggestions. I'm really interested to see what you guys think of memberships and if there's anything in particular you think we can do to improve it. And then lastly, we'll have an open Q&A. So just a reminder, if you can save any questions or suggestions about memberships until the end there, that would be perfect, just so I can keep the flow of the webinar nice and smooth. And that will just make sure it's nice and focused, and then we'll do all the questions at the end. So feel free to ask me anything about the demo while I'm doing it. If there's something I've gone through too quickly or you want me to show you again, then please do let me know. And I'll be happy to go over it once again. So to start with then, we're going to go into Convertri and we're going to start by setting up our sales funnel. So I have done some of this in advance just to save time, make sure it's not too repetitive for the demo. So you'll see some of the page that I'm using have actually already been filled in, but I will be making one using one of our templates as well. And once we've done that, we'll be able to get onto memberships so that by the end of the call, you'll know all about Convertri memberships and you'll be able to create one just like this one here. So this is one of the ones that I'm going to show you and add to and show you how to make. And by the end of today's call, hopefully you guys will feel comfortable and confident to do that for yourself. So we'll take a look at that in more detail afterwards, but to start with, we will kick things off with setting up the funnel. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my funnel set up. So create new funnel. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. I know that pretty much everyone in this call, I think, is an active Convertri member, which is perfect. If any of you are coming back here, though, with maybe a fresh pair of eyes, like you haven't used the app in a while, that's completely fine. Feel free to, ask questions if you're unfamiliar with any part of the app that I'm showing you. So I'm just creating a funnel here now, and I'll call this my membership webinar funnel. And then I'm going to select the domain it's on now. I'm going to choose the domain that I've got my membership set up on, which is this one here. So I'll click create now, and now I've got my funnel. And then we're going to start by making out our opt-in page. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using a template page for the purposes of the webinar, just to speed things up a bit. I want to get into the membership sites quickly. So we'll use some of the templates instead of making the pages from scratch. And, they are just a really good tool to use. It's really easy to just select one you like. So I'm going to use this Words funnel templates here. And just to select this one now, and I know that all I've got to do once I've created this page is just makes any small edits I want. So I've got a fully designed page here without having to put any of that work in myself. So the editor is just loading up now. So you can see here, we've got a pretty simple opt-in page. I'm just going to fill out some of the copy for the page now so that it suits the offer that I'm going to be selling here, which is just a basic training guide for Convertri. So the idea being our membership site is offering training to people, and this opt-in funnel, opt-in to sales page funnel is basically selling them on that training. So this opt-in page here, we're going to be offering our prospects a lead magnet. The lead magnet will then take them to a thank you page where they can download it. And after that, we'll have a link to our sales page, which will contain the membership product. So what I'm doing now here is just switching out some of the text so that we've got a opt-in page that is actually fully functioning. And I'm going to make sure my bullets are matching that as well. So it's really important if you're offering a lead magnet to make sure that your copy is, relevant to it. Tease a little bit about what people are going to be getting from it, and hopefully that will tie in nicely with your the content you're offering for your membership product as well. So if you're offering training of any kind, maybe that's in something like email marketing, then maybe your lead magnet would need to be something linked to that, but that doesn't give away what you're actually going to be doing in your training. So in this case here, I've got my text on the page now. So it's get your free all about Convertri guide now. We've had to deal with not knowing which software to use. Deciding on the right one seems like an impossible task. This guide will show you why Convertri is the only choice. So the lead magnet here is basically a guide that shows you why Convertri should be your choice for a landing page. So this is obviously for purposes of an example, but that just gives you an idea of the type of thing you should be leaning into when thinking about your lead magnets. The training in the membership site will be about Convertri. So if I've got a prospect who's fairly cold coming to my opt-in page, I'm going to try and warm them up to Convertri by showing them why it's so good. And that way, hopefully, they'll be more inclined to buy some of the training about it. So I've got my opt-in page set up now. I'm just going to change this image out with one that's linked more to Convertri. So if I scroll down to my Convertri logo, actually use a different one. So we'll use our CVT bunny, and we'll just resize that slightly like so. And I'm using, of course, my pink snap lines to show me the alignment. So I've got that set up now. My opt-in page is almost ready to go. I'm just going to add my form. And once I've attached my form, then I'll be able to show everyone how to set up their thank you page and the sales page as well. So I'm just going to use the list here. So I'm selecting my list from the autoresponder I've connected. So you can see this is our list of integrations for API autoresponders. We've got a variety available here. MailChimp's the one I've gone for, not really for any reason other than it's at the top here, and I know I've got lists on that account, so I can easily show you how it works. So I'm going to leave the thank you page as blank for now. To do that, I'll have to toggle on don't redirect, but we will be coming back and changing this later on once we've set the membership site up. For now, though, I'd just like to keep that off because we haven't actually got our thank you page published. So I'll hit done. And before we go onto our thank you page, I just want to check the mobile version. So make sure to check the mobile version, of course, before anyone is publishing pages. Luckily, Convertri does have an automatic mobile conversion so that the desktop pages you're making will be transferred automatically into a mobile version before you actually have to make any changes. Now, you can, of course, move things around, but you can see here, I haven't actually done anything to this page. You've seen me create it from scratch or from the template anyway, and the mobile version is already built out like this, and it looks pretty good. You know, the only maybe complaint you could have is this is too big, but you can resize it like so. And then if you want to do that, you can then just move every other piece of content up. So I can hold shift, click and drag, and that will squeeze everything up like so. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my opt-in page now. We'll save that and we'll get straight on into the thank you page. So if we now go to new page again, And I'm going to go back to my words funnel and just grab the thank you page for that as well. That one. This one here. Because we've got our thank you page for our opt-in, we are going to need another one for our sales page. So we will clone this and call it thank you sales, and we'll edit that once we've done the sales page as well. So if we go to our thank you page now, we can make any small edits we want. Again, with our templates here, they're pretty much good to go. You can see you'll get a confirmation email shortly. If that's something you set up in your autoresponder, perfect. If not, you can just remove it. So I can remove it like so. Thank you for downloading free guide. And you can edit the text here any way you like. I'm just going to close that for now. And what I'm going to do as well is duplicate this button clone so that we can have one that allows our users, our prospects, to download the guide, and one that will take them to the sales page, which is where we'll be selling our membership site. So you can see the basic idea here with this funnel is you're driving potentially some cold traffic to the opt-in page. Maybe it's from a Facebook ad, Google ads, anything like that. Maybe it's from an email campaign you're running. You're getting a lead magnet on that page, which we're going to now attach to our thank you page. And then once you've got the prospects here, you can get them over to your sales page, hopefully, where they'll then be more likely to make a purchase because they've actually seen some of the content. They know what it's about, rather than just being dumped straight to a sales page and being asked to purchase the membership site. So I'm going to rename this button here and just say download now. And then I'm going to make sure I've got that button set to download. And once I've done that, I can select the file that I want to add using the little folder icon. And then I can upload it. And this will just take me now to my file selector, which I'm not sure that you guys will be able to see, but all you're missing out on is literally the folder that pops up and allows me to select the file. So I'm going to attach that here, which is my lead magnet now. And now anytime someone clicks on this button, that will automatically be downloaded to their computer. It might open in a new tab. It may just download. It depends on the browser settings. So that's not something that you'll be able to control. The only way you can do that is if you wanted to turn force download on by click, and that will actually allow the browser to open the file to the user's settings. So now I've got my thank you for downloading your guide free text here. And I just need to edit this. So want to learn more about Virtually or need help getting started. And this is basically now a seg into the sales page. So that you can get people on to that page to hopefully buy your membership site. So of course, as I mentioned, this is for the purposes of an example, the idea being we give someone a guide to tell them why Convertri is amazing. They will hopefully sign up for a trial, or maybe they have one already, or they are thinking about getting one, and then we have them here going to our sales page. So this one button will be a link, and the sales page will contain the membership site, which we're now going to build once we set up our sales page. And that will be where people can buy access. It will be where your content is gated, your training is stored. So just to double check everyone is following so far, hopefully I'm not going too fast. I do want to get through this part of the demo fairly quickly, just so we can get onto the memberships though. So is there anything anyone wants me to go over again quickly? Just while I take a swig of water. All good, Mike, Nick, great, thank you. Cool, okay, so I'll continue then. I'll save this page, just double check the mobile version. Again, I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I'll stretch this out a little bit just to make sure it fills the whole mobile screen. So again, I'm shift dragging and then I'll space those out as well, like so. So I'll save that, and you'll notice I haven't published any of my pages yet, but the one that I would want to publish first would be this thank you page. And that is just so that we can go back into the opt-in page and actually set this as our thank you redirect page. So I'm going to publish the thank you page now for the opt-in, and then I'll go back to my opt-in page and I can finish setting up that form. And once I've set up the form, we'll then be able to get onto our sales page, which will be the final piece in this funnel for now, until we come to add our membership product to the page. So just go to thank you URL, toggle that off, and then I'll add my URL, which is, okay, so this is a very good example of why you should use the arrows that we provide when you're building out your funnel. So you'll notice there, I didn't use the arrow. If I now use the arrow like so, what will happen is when I go back into my forms config, it will suggest that thank you page as a redirect URL. So I don't actually have to remember it, which of course I didn't. So turn that toggle off now, and you can see it's automatically picked that up from the suggestions, which is pretty handy. So click done, I'll save that and publish. And now that is going to allow me to collect opt-ins for this page here. Now, at the moment, the link on the thank you page to the sales page is going nowhere. So we need to get the sales page in. And I mentioned that some of this has been done in advance. So the sales page itself has actually been, I've created that beforehand just so I can basically, so I can get this part done fairly quickly. You know, there's not much sense in you guys sitting here watching me fill out copy on a sales page. I'll go through some of the concepts behind it, like I did with the opt-in page, but there's not much use in me, you know, just typing out text for the webinar. So I've imported this from a funnel I was creating earlier on, and this is going to be our sales page for the membership site that we're going to be creating in a moment and selling on that page. So I can see Michael's asked, will the session be recorded in some type of library later? So yes, Michael, we actually have a knowledge base at help.convertri.com, and that is where the recording will be going. So after the webinar, I'll get that converted and we'll add that into the knowledge base. Probably early next week is when we'll get it in there. So yeah, if you have to drop out halfway through the call or anything like that, then no worries, we'll be able to get that in the knowledge base and we'll put some links out for it so you can catch up. So I'm on the sales page here. It's fairly standard. I've got my headline, a little bit of description, discover everything you need to know about getting started with Convertri in just 3 simple modules. I've got a testimonial. I would normally have a picture here, but we won't do that just for the sake of the webinar. And then I've got my buy button as well, which is set to open checkout. Now I've got some bullets here about my course. So if I'm selling some training like I'm planning to do here, then it's a really good idea to have some bullets laid out here. So we've got the templated ones, and of course you can fill these out yourself. So we've got how to get started with Convertri. Seems like a good one. You know, these have got templated bullets, so they have like this Mad Lib copy. You don't have to follow this. In this case, I'm going to just get rid of it because I don't think it was really needed here, and we'll add our own. So what custom or business? So the idea with this is just to tease some of the things you're going to be showing in your training without going into too much detail so that they feel like they don't need to purchase it. So I'm just, you know, letting people know. I think one of the other things that's going to be in here is so we've got our bullets there, and then we've got a more detailed overview of that here. So inside the Convertri course, which is what I showed you at the beginning. So I've already set up the first 2 modules. Module 1, getting started, we've got how to create your first funnel, discover editor tips and tricks, and how to publish pages. And then we've got domains and hosting. So we've got adding your custom domain and adding Convertri pages to a subdomain. And then lastly, we have this one, which I'm going to fill out now, and that is going to be for the content that I'll be adding on the webinar during the demo. So we've got module 3, and it's going to be our videos. And then we'll just add again some description. So what I'm going to be showing in this module is basically how to use videos with Convertri. So something along the lines of see how easy it is to slot videos in the Convertri page. Simply upload them in your account manager. Area of Convertri, and then select video you'd like on the page. I've got a bit of space here, so again, I'll shift drag that up to close it down and make sure it's looking nice. And then at the final one, cool. So we've now got our Convertri for sales page, which is going to be for the membership site. We've got that set up. That's now ready to go. And we can now just finally make sure we've got the thank you page ready as well. So you'll see again, this isn't published just yet. And the thank you sales page, which we'll be using as our redirect from the sales page. So if someone does purchase it, we'll have this here. So thank you for signing up to course. Well, we don't need our button or our text here because they're going to get that email confirmation shortly. So once someone buys a membership product, they'll receive the email confirmation, which contains their login details. And from that point, they'll be able to use the membership site. So again, I'd just like to take a quick pause. Is there any questions on any of the funnel setup there? Anything that wasn't clear or you'd like me to go over before we do dive into the memberships and setting that up and, you know, talking through membership sites in Convertri? Okay, all good, Steve. Yeah, I can see people raising hands, a couple of questions coming in. Yeah, so the webinar will be posted on our knowledge base. For anyone that wasn't aware of that, we are recording this and we will be adding it there. So if you do have to drop out, no worries, we'll get that replay in promptly. Laverne's got a question. Does the arrow need to go to the next page? So essentially the arrows here, they are just for visual aids in the funnel screen, but as you'll see with the opt-in page, so essentially the arrow is telling Convertri that these two pages are to be connected. Now, that doesn't mean that it will connect them for you. It just means that when you go to set up your form, it's going to suggest it as a redirect. So if I had an arrow coming off this opt-in page to a second page, that would also be in the suggestions tab. Now, I don't have to have the arrows there. I could have the arrow, I could get rid of the arrow and I would still be able to add the thank you page URL here. I just have to remember it or have it written down somewhere. So using the arrows really just allows you to not have to worry about that, which as I quite helpfully showed you on the call, it can happen when you're building your funnels. You know, it's not easy to remember those URLs. So yeah, it is a useful tool. I would recommend using it. You just need to drag the arrow like so onto whichever page you want. So I'm actually going to do that now for this one, so that when I come to publish those later, it's clear to Convertri where I want it to go. Ralph has asked how many lines of text you recommend for each block for proper mobile display. I mean, on the mobile, if you're having larger blocks of text, it's obviously going to cause the scrolling on the device. So if you can keep it short and sharp for the bullet style pieces, I'd recommend that. So 1 line for a bullet. But if you do have a large block of text where you're describing maybe your content or what people are going to be getting from your course, that is fine. It will display fine on the mobile. They'll just be actually having to scroll to read it, which I suppose is expected. You know, if you're reading a blog post or anything like that, that's to be expected on a mobile. Jim, yeah, the arrows are one of your suggestions. Yeah, that might have even been, I think it was before I joined, but that is a great call. I think it's a really useful feature, and probably because I joined after they were added, not something I use as much as I should when I'm using and building funnels. So last couple of questions then before we move on. Ryan's asking, can we use the same domain for membership as for sales page and opt-in? Yeah, so definitely you can. This is actually the same one here that we'll be using for my membership site. So you can see the domain that I've got is convertrimembershipswebinar.com. And when we go to the memberships area, you'll see that that's actually the domain that I've got my membership set up on already. So you can do that. Membership sites are only for custom domains, and you can only have one site per custom domain. So if you've already got one on a custom domain, you won't be able to create a new one on that same custom domain. Okay, so I'm going to move on now into the membership section. So the way to access membership sites in Convertri is you go to campaigns, and then we'll go over here to the left where we've got funnels, etc., and we've got memberships as well. So this is basically your dashboard. Everyone with a pro or agency account will automatically have memberships included in their subscription, and each account will have 10 membership sites available to them. So unless you've purchased one of our limit multipliers, you'll have 10 limits, which means you can create up to 10 membership sites. As I mentioned, you can connect your membership site to any custom domain, and that means you can have one membership site per custom domain. So you can see I've got my membership created already because I do have some content in there, which I was showing you through at the start. So this is what our membership sites look like at the moment. You can navigate on the left menu here. You can navigate with the buttons at the top and at the bottom. And you can also click on specific lessons as well from here. So we've got our membership already. If I get back to Convertri, and the button at the top is where you'll be creating your new one. So if you are coming to this fresh and you haven't got one already, you'll need to click Create New here. You enter your name and then you select a domain for your membership site. Now, as I mentioned, I've already got one on the domain that I am using. So that's why these are the only ones being shown to me. If I was to select quizitory.com though, I can enter a name and create one, and then you'll get this message here. And this is quite an important thing to be aware of. And basically the way we publish the membership site pages is we force the URL to have the path /members. So if you do already have a page published at that path, then that will be automatically unpublished and you'll need to republish it under a different path. So some of you in the chat may have some custom built memberships already that you've done yourself before we introduced this feature. If you do have that and you have a custom domain with /members and you have a page there and you want to create a membership site on that domain, you will need to move that before you do so. Otherwise, it will be automatically unpublished. So just bear that in mind as you go forward with the membership sites, just so you're not, unpublishing any of your pages by mistake. So with that said, we've got our membership here. I'm ready to jump into that now, and we can start going through the content. So before we do so, just a quick line on membership sites. Maybe some of you are familiar and some of you aren't. So the reason why they're so beneficial is what you can actually do, as you'll see shortly, is you can provide users with some content. Maybe it's training, maybe it's just something that you would release normally in an ebook, or maybe it's just like a set of videos you have. Might not be for training purposes, might be for entertainment, but what you can essentially do is hide it behind a payment wall, which means that that content is now exclusive, so it can't be accessed without anyone buying your product. So that not only makes the product, you know, more desirable, but it means you can actually get people in and create a kind of community with people who've actually paid and been willing to pay for your content. So with a lot of content, maybe in the past on Convertri pages, you're not 100% sure who's been viewing it. With the membership system, you'll be able to not only protect it from anyone that hasn't bought it, but you'll also be able to see exactly who has done so and therefore build up a community. Now, there is many form of membership sites. The one I'm going to be showing you is probably the most popular in our area, in the marketing niche, and that is like the idea of selling a course, some training to your user base in the field that you consider yourself an expert to be in. So maybe you're an expert in affiliate marketing or maybe email marketing, and you want to put out some training, but you want to make sure that only people that are actually willing to pay for it can see it. So a membership site would allow you to do that, and that would be one example. You can see membership sites take many different forms though. So probably some that you use every day that you might not even consider to be a membership site are things like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Video, you know, your streaming services. They are all forms of membership sites by way of the fact that the content is hidden behind a payment wall and only people with a subscription can access it. So those are the kind of examples that you might have come across for membership sites, or that maybe you will be hoping to build yourself. So today's example, as I mentioned, is going to be that of like an online course training style membership. And as I mentioned before, and you saw with the funnel, I'm going to be using the example of Convertri training just because it's nice and easy to display. And as I mentioned, though, it can really be applied to any type of content out there. So we'll have a look at the site now and what we've got in there. So I'm going to use the edit button here. Before I do so, I'll just show you what's in the more menu. At the moment, it's just rename. So if you want to rename it, so we should probably rename this one to Convertri course because that's what we've called it on the sales page. And if we go then to edit, we can see the screen here for adding your modules. You've got your members on the left. At the moment, I'm the only member of my membership site, and we've also got the settings here. So this is where you can upload a logo, add your favicon as well, and they will be added to your site automatically. So the content section is probably going to be the most, the area you spend the most time in. So this will be where you create your modules. So the way the structure of the memberships is built is we have our membership site at level 1, we have their modules, which contain lessons, which contain content. So you can't have just a module without any lessons and add content to it. You'll need to create lessons in order to add your content in. As you'll see here, if I click the folder to expand, I've got my 3 lessons for this module, and then I can edit each one of those, which is where I add the content to. If I want to create another lesson, I can do that and just add any name I want. So 4th lesson, like so. That will then be added into this module, and I can then edit it, delete it, or even rename it. So I'm going to delete it for now, and then we'll show you editing in a moment. So expanding module cards like so, clicking on it, you'll see the lessons. Create lesson on the module card will allow you to create a lesson, as I just showed. And then what we've got up here is the site URL. So this basically allows you to just visit your site easily. So one of the things that was a slight oversight in the beta was we didn't have this feature, and it was proving to be quite difficult for people to find their own membership site. So we quickly rectified that. We've given you now this URL, which is the one for your site, and you can easily copy it to your clipboard and paste it into the address bar, and then it will take you to your site. Now, one thing to mention before we go into adding the content is similar to how the URL here is forced, as I spoke about when I was creating one or showing you how to create one. The lessons are also forced in the sense that we have this lesson and then the code. That is something that's not editable. And then what we have here is the name of the lesson. So this allows you to basically rename your lessons, and the code will anchor that page to this site, so that if you rename your lesson, you don't need to like update your URLs or anything like that. It will still work, and you'll get the new version updated as well. So I'll show you that actually now. So if I click more and rename and just change this to your first funnel and click save, and then we go back to this site and refresh. We'll probably need to go from here and backwards. You can now see it's updated not only in the navigation bar, but also in the URL and also in the breadcrumbs and on the site as well. So these parts of the site are being defined by the names. So similar to the modules, you've got that on the left here as well. And also on the breadcrumbs, those kind of labels are actually defined in here from what you call your lessons and modules. So unlike with Convertri, where you can basically name your funnel and your pages anything you like, and it doesn't really matter, in the memberships module, you will need to take more care when naming your modules and lessons, because they will actually be visible on the site as well. So just bear that in mind when creating them. And then one last thing before we do dive into the content, you'll see we've got this unpublished button here. So if you've created a new membership site, this will actually be a blue button and it will say publish. When you click that, it will publish anything you've got set up already onto the web. You can unpublish it to take it down. But if you're not unpublishing and you're editing while it's live, then you'll just need to click the save button in the edit lesson screen. And I'll show you how to do that now, because we're going to jump into adding the content. So we've got our two modules already with a few lessons in there. And as you may have seen, we've got a variety of content. So we've got text, we've got images. On this one, that's just a text and image lesson. The next one we've got is just mainly video. So I've used our page builder overview video, and then I've got a little bit of text underneath. And if I go into the edit lesson for those two, you'll be able to see exactly what that looks like from the back end. So this is the edit lesson screen. This is where you add your content. We have gone for a very on-rails approach purely because we wanted to make it as easy as possible to use, while also giving a structured layout that avoided, complications of having too much customization. So we're in, no way are we saying that our membership site is completely outdoing any others, but what we feel like the best thing about it is it works well with Convertri. That was part of the main brief when we started membership. So that's why we've maybe lost a little bit of flexibility and functionality, but it will tie up so nicely with Convertri that we feel like that was worth the sacrifice. So you can add your content in here and it will then be populated onto your page. So you'll see we have text here, which I've added text using this button. And this is actually now going to translate straight back to my first lesson. You can see this text here. That is the text that we have in this element. And then next one, we have the image and then again text. Now we can reorder by using these arrows. And if I want to make any changes like that, I just need to click save and it will update on the site automatically. So that's a little look at some of the content we've got already. Now let's add some more. We can go through a bit of a demo on that. So I'm going to create a new module now, and I'll call that videos overview. You can see it's now been added. I can expand it, but it won't actually expand because I haven't got any lessons. So first thing I need to do is create that lesson. And I just need to give that a name. And we'll call this one upload. Okay, so we've now got lesson number 1 in third module, and I can start adding my content. So what I'm going to be showing in this lesson is how to upload a video in Convertri. So I've got all my text at the ready, just so I'm not having to think of it on the spot and we can move through smoothly. But the first thing I need to do is add a text element. So you can see when you add your text element, you've got your text formatting settings, and these will actually be reflected when you type the text as well. So if I add some text for this one here, like so, And then if I was to make this note here bold, that will show you what it's going to look like on the live site, essentially. So you're seeing the live changes to that as well, and you know that it's been applied. So I've got how to upload a video directly to Convertri, so it's hosted with us, and then a little note about that. So that's my top line of text. I'm going to add another text element just because I want it to be separate from that one. And this is where I'm going to start with my training. So I've got my first step, which I'm adding, and that's just how to add a video from the left. And you can see here, I can break my text elements up as I like. I could have this one in there as well if I wanted to. I'm going to just break it out so it's easier to organize in this edit lesson screen. So I've got 2 bits of text now, and I'm going to try and break this up with an image so that I don't have just a big block of text. So it's nice and easy to follow. I'm providing my prospects, my members, with some easy to follow annotations as well. So to do that, I'm going to add an image. So I'll click the add image option, and you'll see here that we have an image gallery similar to the one in the manager that we recently added. And this shows you all the images that have been uploaded to your account. Now, we currently don't have the upload option in here itself. That is something in the pipeline at the moment. So to upload the images, I'm going to cancel out of here. I'm going to save this content. It's very important to save, because if you don't, it won't actually stay there. And then I'm going to go back to campaigns, to images. And from here, I'm just going to upload my images that I'll use on this lesson. So once I've done that, we'll see that they're added here. And I can now go back to memberships, back into the Convertri course one, and get back into editing the lesson. So you can see, as I mentioned, we've done this with ensuring that you can do all of this creation under one roof. You don't need a load of third-party software. You can do everything in Convertri using all of the tools we provide you. So I'll add my first image now, which is going to be image 1. And you can see you're going to get, again, a little preview of what that image looks like. And that is now below this text. So it's worth bearing in mind, if you didn't pick up on this already, that the order you add things here in the edit lesson screen is going to be the order they appear on the site itself, as we'll see in a moment. So I've got my image there as well. And then I'm going to add another piece of text and just get the last instructions so that we have almost a full lesson. So another image now, we'll hit the image 2. And then again with our text, and this will close out the lesson number 1 for this module. And again, we've got our, as I say, our text formatting options here. So I could, if I wanted to, make this one underlined or bold underlined, like so. And I even have a heading 1 option, which will apply to the entire element. And that will basically give it a title look. And if I want to go back to paragraph, I just simply select the P, like so. So these text styles are defined already. They're not editable at the moment. That's something that we are considering and looking into. So currently it's the way that it comes out is how it's set up, and that can't be changed. But you can see now I've got a nice simple lesson, and I've built that out without having to actually, move anything around or add anything onto a page or do anything complex. I've really simply just filled out my information, my lesson. And now if I go to save and I go back to my membership site here, just give that a refresh. And I've now got my videos overview module here, and uploading a video. My lesson is now live. So you can see that I had my content ready, of course, for the sake of the webinar, but it really took me, a couple of minutes to fill all that out. And what I've got out the other end is a really nice professional looking lesson, which someone can access and follow. And that's part of this course. So it's just really simple to do. So we're going to go now and add our second lesson, our last lesson, and this is going to be more of a video focused lesson rather than the images. So I'm going to go back now to my module and create another lesson, and we'll call this one Convertri Player. this lesson is going to be focused on showing people how to use the video player in Convertri. So I'm going to have my video. So we have an add video option, which you'll have seen here next to the add image and add text. And this at the moment is only working with YouTube. So one of the features we are working on currently to get out as our, one of our first updates is to make it compatible with Convertri's video player so that you can actually select any video you've uploaded in Convertri and use it here. So at the moment, you'll need to add YouTube links. You can do these with unlisted videos. They will work. So if you want to hide your content that way, that's fine. And as I say, the Convertri one will be coming very soon. So we'll click add and now add our video. And as you can see, we get a nice thumbnail. So we know it's the right one. And then below that, I'm going to add some text. And again, I've got this already set up. So put this one here, and I've decided actually that I think this bit of text should go above the video. So I'm going to use the arrow here to move it up, and you'll see that will just swap that content around now. And it's as easy as that to move things around. So it's more of your block style editing, structured on Rails, as I said, rather than the free form that we have with the pages. But we think that works very well for the membership sites in the way that we are hoping they will work. So we've then got our final bit of text here, which is going to be me adding my list of what the autoplay settings mean for my video player. So I'll give that bold as well. And this lesson is now pretty much done. I'm letting the video do all of the heavy lifting here, which is not uncommon for training courses on the web. So if you have videos and that's going to be your focus, you can easily just add the video. You don't even need to have any text if you don't want to, and they'll be able to go through the site and add them and work through the ones you've added, I should say. So we've now got those two in. And if we go back to our site and just give that a refresh, you can see we've now got our final lesson. And this is our, we have our video player one here, and this one is now ready to go as well. So it's as easy as that to create the content in your Convertri membership site. And hopefully that is the kind of thing that you guys are going to be doing with membership sites. A few other things before we get into any questions. We have, as I say, the members area, which is where you can add a member manually. You can download the list. So as well as setting up the product, which I'm going to show you how to do after we've taken any questions about the membership setup, you can add a member manually just by adding the name and the email. That person will then receive login details as if they'd bought the product. So you can add people for free. Maybe that's friends, or maybe someone you want to test the site as well. And then in settings at the moment, we just have logo and favicon, and we'll actually upload the logo as well. We'll select the logo. So if we go alphabetical, we can hopefully get to, okay, that's not going to be something I'm wanting to do on the call, is sift through all these images. So we'll leave that for now. I'm sure on your guys' Convertri accounts, you don't have quite as many images as we do. This is our main account, so any marketing material we've created will have all those images ready. So before we go back and complete the setup of the funnel and show you guys how to connect a product to a membership site and how to set that up on a page, are there any questions about adding content to a membership site that you guys have on the back of that? I've got a couple in here. Can order of lessons modules be changed? They, at the moment, they can't be moved around without deleting and renaming or deleting and re-adding. That is a ticket that we have in the pipeline though, reordering modules and lessons, so you can easily move them up and down just like you can with content. So that'll be something that we're going to be pushing out soon as well. Yeah, a search function would definitely be helpful for that image gallery. Is something that we are also working on, and hopefully that will be coming out as one of our next Convertri updates. So Renee's asked, can you create a membership site to replace a Facebook group? So it's a good question. As you'll have seen there from the demo, at the moment we don't have anything that allows kind of interaction amongst members. There's no sort of discussions feature or announcement page, but that is actually a very good idea. And what I will do is I will add that to our ideas board. So one of the things, I was going to save this reveal until later, but seeing as you've asked such a good feature suggestion, I'll show you guys. We've got our membership ideas board here that I've set up for the webinar. And what I'm going to do is just add people's suggestions to this board so that we can collate them afterwards, go through what we think is a good idea, what is easy to do and what may take a bit of time, and then hopefully we can get those added. So we've got kind of a Facebook group style announcement / discussions page. That would be a really good idea, Renee. So thank you for that suggestion. Ralph, yeah, so the opt-in and funnel that I set up that I did before the membership sites, that is linked to memberships in a way that we're going to be using that, and you guys will probably be using that kind of thing to sell your memberships. It's not actually linked to my membership site at all. It is on the same domain, but it's not actually connected to my membership site in any way in terms of the content. It's more just a way of getting traffic to. We're giving people the lead magnet and then we're pushing them onto a sales page where they'll then be able to buy the membership site. So we're going to go through that shortly, how to set that up, and then we'll have the full funnel from start to finish. I've got another question here, and this is also a feature suggestion. It is a very good one as well, something we did consider in the early days, but we decided to hold back on it for first release just for dev reasons, and that is about adding an iframe as content in future, which I imagine will give you a bit more flexibility with the kind of things you can add. So I'll add that to the board as well. Thank you very much for that one. Vimeo videos should also be coming as well. We are focusing on getting the Convertri videos out first because we have YouTube and the two services are fairly similar. But the plan is that by the end of the video updates to memberships, we'll have all of the ones we have in the editor, which is YouTube, Wistia, Vimeo, and the Convertri video player as well. So yeah, Larry, we should have that coming. I'm not sure when though. But it is something that we're aware of and we're hoping to get in soon. Yeah, and Larry, just to follow on your second question there, I'll be showing that set up on the payment page very shortly. I'm just going to go through these last questions, and then we'll get to completing the full funnel setup. Can training modules be linked to an autoresponder when a person completes a lesson? At the moment, they can't be linked to an autoresponder when a lesson's completed. You know, no notifications are sent out, but there is the functionality to mark a lesson as completed if you are a member. We aren't actually doing anything with this at the moment, but we have it in place for those kind of things. So what I'll do is I'll add that as well to our ideas board. So linking lesson completion or member activity to an autoresponder. So emails or notifications. Thank you very much for that. That's a great suggestion. Yeah, so Peter, I think I kind of covered that just now with the completed badge that we have, but yeah, we don't actually do anything with it at the moment. So as you mentioned, is there a way to show progress? That is one of the main reasons we had this in here. So the progress bar will be coming so that it can show progress through a whole module. One of the features that we've got on the way that I'll show you will hopefully incorporate that in due course. Yeah, so Matt, would it be possible to have pages only visible to members after they've signed in? Yeah, so that is the way that the membership works. What I'll do is I'm going to move on now to get the final bit of the funnel set up, just so we can actually show you what it looks like if you go through from start to finish and buy access to the product. Because I know at the moment I've showed you the funnel, I've showed you a membership site, but we haven't gone through that start to finish setup. So we'll jump straight into that now, not to waste any more time. So if there's any questions I haven't got to yet, I will get to them afterwards. There is a lot of people in here, so please do just bear with me and we'll go through the Q&A session at the end. So hang on to any questions you've got for now, please. So I'll go back now to my funnel. So back into campaigns, membership webinar, and we've got our funnel set up. What I need to do now is go into cart, and I'm now actually going to create my product. So we're going to create it like any other Convertri product. So I hit new product, and I'm just going to call this Convertri course, and in brackets I'm going to put not just so anyone is avoiding confusion there about what this is. So Convertri course, I'm going to give it a price. I'm going to put $1 on it, just for the example's sake. I can do anything I'm doing currently with a Convertri product. So anything like recurring payments, if I wanted to do that, I can, which I know will be very popular for memberships, to make it a subscription. I can do that, so I can set that to be $1 every month. And it should never stop. You know, I've got my cycle settings here, so I could restrict it to just charge them 3 times. I'll keep that as never for now, though. I can also offer a trial period. I won't be doing that for this one, and I'll turn recurring off just for the sake of the example as well. But those are the kind of things you can do with your membership products. Again, you can do shipping, which I imagine isn't going to be very much used for memberships. Same as variance, quantity, inventory, and fulfillment. These are kind of the more physical products. The one you're going to be focused on is membership. And what this allows you to do is provide access to a membership site when this product is purchased. So if they purchase the product and you've set it up so that the membership site here is selected from the drop down, this will now tie that membership site to this Convertri product. So anytime someone makes a purchase of this product on any of your Convertri pages, they'll automatically be sent an email which contains their login details, and they'll then be able to log into the membership site. So if I click create now, that product is now ready to go. I can go back to my funnel. I can go to my sales page, and I can add this product. Now, what I'm going to do for the webinar's sake is I'm going to actually put this in test mode. And what that means is you guys can actually go ahead and purchase this product without paying for it and sign in as if you were a member. And then you'll be able to see what it looks like from a member's end. I'll show you it as well from my end. But we will also do that as well in here, so that basically you can buy it without having to pay any money, really. So what you want to do with the card payment, I'll show you in a second. You just need to basically put a fake card number in there. For now, I'm going to put that as google.com for now. I'm not sure why the suggestions isn't being picked up. Maybe there's a bug in this screen, so we'll get that looked at. But what I'll do is I'll save that for now. I'll publish this page, a sales page, and I'm just going to go back to my thank you page on my sales page, publish that as well. Oh, that's why it's not working, because I didn't actually publish it. So I did do the arrow step, but I actually forgot to publish the page. So please remember to publish your pages as well if you're using the arrows trick, and that will make sure that the suggestion box does work. So I'll go back to my sales page and just tie that loose end up now. And you can see it's just finding that. There we go. So we now have thank you sales. That's fine. Save and close. I've got my membership product here set up. I've got it in test mode for you guys to try out. And these buttons here are set to open checkout, which will open our modal checkout so that you can make the purchase. So I'll just do a quick republish. that. And then the last steps that I need to do, if I'm remembering where I got to before we dived into memberships, is I just need to tie up my thank you page to my sales page. So what I'm doing here is I'm copying the published link, and I'm now going to thank you opt-in, and I'm going to add this to my button. So my find out more button settings are set to link, add that, save it, and republish. And now we'll be able to go to our opt-in page, which I'm just going to make sure is set up correctly before I publish it and show you the example. We've got the form. Got our thank you page. We've got our button, which is set to sign up, and we'll give that a republish. And I'm now going to show you the cycle as if I was a prospect going to this page in full, and then hopefully some of you can try it out as well. Showed you how to do it. So we're going to view the page now. This is my opt-in page. So someone's landed on here from one of my ads, hopefully. I'm now going to have my email address here. And I'll just add my alias because I've already signed up before. I'm going to hit download now. This will sign me up to the list that I set up, and it will redirect me to my thank you page. I can download the guide here. I can click that. That will download my lead magnet, which I set up at the start. As you can see, I've then got my find out more button, which if I click, that's going to take me to my sales page. See, it's in test mode, so payments won't be processed. So if any of you guys are following along, I'll drop the link in the chat for you. It's actually Convertri webinar, memberships webinar. I'll drop that in the chat. So if any of you guys want to follow me along in this process. So I'm at the sales page now. I then just need to click buy now. That will open the modal checkout. And I can now add my name, my email, like so, and then I can complete the purchase. Like so. Now, I actually thought we had Stripe integrated onto this account. So annoyingly, the PayPal won't actually allow you to do a test payment unless you have a test PayPal account set up. So it's not going to allow you to do that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of test mode. Please now don't purchase it, because I'm going to take it out of test mode now. And then that way I'm going to show you the purchase. If anyone makes the purchase by mistake or whatever, we'll of course refund that as soon as possible. But for now, just hold off on that. I'll show you it as an example rather than getting you guys to go along with it, just so we can show that whole process again, rather than missing out on that last step. So we'll view the sales page as if we've come from our thank you page. And then I'm going to just go to my PayPal once I've entered my name and email address. Actually, what I want to have my test, then I hit pay. And again, please don't make a purchase here, guys. We're just doing this by way of example. So once I've done this, I'll then get the email and I'll have access to the membership site. So you can see now I've gone through here. I'm now at my thank you page, the last step in our funnel. And if I now go ahead and open up a tab here and go to my email account, I've got my email. Welcome to the Convertri course. Thank you for signing up. To access your exclusive content, click login and enter the details we've given you. So I've now got my login link. I can use the email address I signed up for to paste it in. And I've then got an auto-generated password, which Convertri will generate for you automatically. And I can add that in here. A member will be able to forget their password and reset it if they want to. And if they're happy to use that one, they can log into the site. And just like that, they've now got access to the membership site. So hopefully that shows you the process from start to finish. And hopefully that makes a bit of sense of the opt-in funnel at the start and how it works. And yeah, that is how our access is provided. If someone buys the product that you've connected to your membership site, they'll get an email like this, and they'll only be able to log in with those details, so they won't have access any other way. And that is how to set up a membership site in Convertri. So I hope that demo was really useful for everyone. I'm going to take a few questions now on that and on setting up the sites. So any feature suggestions we'll leave for a little bit later on, because I'm going to go through and show you some of the features we're working on and show you some of the designs we've got. For now, if there's any questions about the setup, please do get those in and I'll answer those before we move on to the final part of the webinar. And thank you all for the kind words. Those of you saying it's a great session, that is much appreciated. Scott's asked if we want paid memberships. Yeah, so Scott, paid memberships, as I showed, I know that question was from before. As you can see, you set up a product and you can set whatever price you want as well. So we'll have a recording of this for anyone asking. We will have a recording available that will be going into the knowledge base early next week. Dawn, yeah, the PayPal isn't the only option. It's just we do have a Stripe integration, but basically on this account that I'm using, this Convertri account, I didn't realize that our Stripe processor isn't integrated. So we only have PayPal integrated, which is why that was the only option there. And that's why I had to purchase it with PayPal myself. With Stripe, you can turn on test mode, etc. Which is what I was hoping to get turned on so that people could actually sign up for themselves. But yeah, so we do have Stripe, but I didn't have it integrated at this moment. No worries, Ryan. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that was useful and I'll see you around again soon. Yeah, so a couple of questions which are going to lead into our features. Which is really useful. So I'll go through those. So Alex asked, do all members get access to the same modules? So currently they do. There's no way to actually segment or protect specific content within the site itself. So at the moment, anyone that signs up gets access to all the content. However, one of the features that we're working on, it's in a very early stages, it hasn't gone through to our development team yet, or even to our designer, is to allow drip feeding. So I know that's quite a common feature for membership sites. Drip feeding will allow you to gate content so that it's only available after, say, a certain amount of days. So that is something we're working on, and it will hopefully get into the app in the next couple of months. Providing free access, again, that's something we've got a ticket for in the pipe, so the devs have got that one, and providing free access will allow people to basically sign up for the site, maybe just by submitting the form rather than actually purchasing it as well. So that's a good suggestion. We've got that one already. And similarly, Pete, another one there we've got already sort of in the backlog of ideas, which is like different levels for your membership site. So maybe a free level, silver level for intermediate, and gold for advanced. Kind of ties in with drip feeding, but also is a separate idea. We have got that one in the backlog of ideas already. Fernando, yes, can we add PDFs to lessons? Yes, so resources is one of the things we are working on at the moment. So I'm going to use that to now seg into this section. I'm just going to close some of these tabs up here just to avoid cluttering of those. And I'm going to now get up the what's next section. So we have a number of ideas that have come from the call, but we actually have a number of ideas we've actually been working on ourselves as well. So this is essentially what's coming soon for memberships. And the first one of those is a resources section. So we've got 2 design files here. So I'm showing you some of the inner workings of Convertri here, guys. So I hope that you will appreciate this. This is our designs of how we imagine adding files will work. So we have the option to add files being added in. So we're in the content area here. And if we go to the upload, we've got basically you're able to upload a file into the edit lesson screen. And then what happens is it gets added at the bottom as a course file. That's obviously the back end side of things. So once you've added a file in the edit lesson screen, it gets added here. And then if we go to our live page, our live site, you can see we have this area here where we have files and our PDFs are added. And we have the same for mobile as well. So this ticket is one of the furthest along the pipe. So you can see we've got the designs for it already. So that's something that we're going to be getting in there shortly. It's difficult to give timeframes, which I know may seem frustrating, but we have to keep that kind of open because things can go wrong in the development process. It's hard to know what sort of code issues we might come across when we're building those, or if we need to build out a completely new part of the code. So no timeframes, I'm afraid, on this, but as you can see, we've got designs for it. I can tell you it's with dev, it's being worked on. So the next one that I'd like to show you is something I mentioned earlier on in the call, and that is the addition of Convertri videos being compatible with the membership sites. So this one's fairly basic in what's happening. We're adding a video like we did earlier, and this time we are now having the My Videos option be first, and you basically can select a video from any that you have uploaded. So you'll be able to select any of the videos you uploaded into your Convertri account. You add that, it gets added, and then it gets added onto your membership site, just like a YouTube video did. The next one, which is probably my favorite, I saw a question sort of similar to what this is going to allow you to do, and it's basically a module homepage. So this is going to allow you to add a module homepage in, so you can actually have someone, instead of when they go to the membership site, the first thing they see is lesson 1, what you get instead is this kind of module homepage, which gives you a list of the lessons, and you can also add a video and a description in here, just basically letting people know what the module will be about. So this is how it will look. It was filled out completely. The way we're going to be allowing you to do this is we'll have an edit module screen where you can upload your video and upload some text or add some text. And this will be the structure for it. This will be automatically populated by the lessons you have in that module. You can click start on those to go through to those lessons, and then you can navigate through the site as you would. But basically the main difference here is when you click on a module, instead of going to lesson 1, you'll be taken to these module home pages. So that's a really cool thing that we've got working through the pipe. That actually went to dev earlier this week. So it's not something that will be out in the near future, but we are working on it. Next up, we have theme settings. So this one will allow you to edit the color scheme for your site. So we have sort of 3 main options: main color, secondary color, and the highlight. And then we have the text color as well. And then this will allow you to change those colors, and it will be represented in the site itself. So what we'll have with that is, if I go back to my site, this can be edited, the bar here, the white background as well, and the text and the highlight color. That will all be editable so that you can create different themes, setting styled sites. So you're not just stuck to the one we've given you. We will be able to customize that as well. Again, we've got designs for that already, so it's with dev, it's being worked on, but it's not something for the immediate future. It will probably be one of the later updates as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you, which is a smaller feature, but something I think will be useful, is adding a support link into the membership site. So at the moment, there's no way for anyone to contact you directly from the site. We have the logout button. And what we're doing here is we're adding a contact us button at the bottom of the page here. So the bottom of the site, you can contact support. The way that email is determined is in the membership settings. So along with our appearance, we have the email link, which you can use any email that you've set up in your configure forms. So any email you've got set up here, you can also use that to select as your support email. So that's quite a nice, neat one as well. And you can see here we have also the members only one. So this is allowing free access. So if you toggle this off, anyone can actually come and join your site without having access to it. Essentially takes away the gating, takes away the login. I did see a question about what happens if you try and access the site without logging in. And what will happen is you'll just be force redirected to the login page. So if we log out of the site and then try and go to any one of the lessons, we go back, it's going to redirect you there. So I can't quite remember what the URL was if I get that out of here. It's not going to show me the exact link. Okay, but yeah, essentially what will happen is you'll get redirected to the login page. So if someone does try their luck, tries to go to a specific URL without having access, then they will just be taken to the login page. So those are the features that I wanted to share with you. I hope they look good. Please let me know what you think in the chat. And now I'd just like to open the floor up to basically any questions you have, any feature suggestions you have before we wrap things up, as we're getting on to nearly an hour and a half now. I don't want to keep everyone for too long. So yeah, any questions you have about memberships, any suggestions you have, I'll get those added to our list here. This is the list we have so far. Dawn, is there a possibility to have a common area where members can chat and share comments? We don't have that at the moment. Got this one here from Renee. I will add your one separately as they are fairly, although they're fairly similar, it's kind of different as well. So common as well. So we've got that. Segmenting access by members, Thomas. Do you mean with that having different levels of access for different members? So for example, we have like a tiered membership site where people buy different access and it allows them to access different levels of content. Is that what you mean? If that is the case, we don't have it on the, yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, we don't have it in dev at the moment, but we do have it on our list. So like I've got our list here from our webinar with everyone, we have our own product list and that is on there as well. Cool. So yeah, I've got another suggestion is similar to that, separating out modules rather than giving modules to all members. That is one on our list. And adding a link in the text, that is a good idea and is something that I'm pretty sure that is actually going to be one of the first things released for membership updates. So I won't add that here, but basically it will just be a hyperlink feature in the text editor. So if I get back to memberships and get back into one of the lessons, then we'll basically have on our formatting here, we'll have a hyperlink option. So you'll be able to highlight a piece of text and add a hyperlink to it. And that will allow you to get that functionality into your site. Show the lesson list within that module. That will hopefully be covered by the module homepage, which I showed you a moment ago. and adding a header or footer to modules and lessons. So what would you imagine with a kind of header or footer with that? Just a standard thing that you can maybe add some links to, or privacy policy, that kind of thing? Is that what you're imagining there? Okay, so any more questions at all? Customer won't be able to print out the site, unfortunately. They'll be able to, you know, take a screenshot of it and maybe save it as a photo if they're wanting to do that and do some learning on the go, but they won't be able to directly print it out from the actual live site, unfortunately. Currently, there's no way to add like HTML. That is something that we kind of have, the iframe content will have, well, I'll add that in here, adding an iframe / HTML as content, but we don't have that kind of thing in there at the moment, Alec. Okay, so I can see the questions have slowed down a little bit now. I'm just going to scroll up in case I missed any that I didn't get answered along the way. Matt, can normal pages be added to the members area? Not at the moment. You can't create a convertory page and have it protected by that membership payment gate, unfortunately, but I'll add that to our list. So you will have to use our content creation system in the membership site itself. A few questions about, is there a recording? Yeah, so there will be a recording. I will get that in at the start of next week for everyone to have a look at. And Jake has asked, is there an interactive feature like a quiz or survey? So currently there isn't. That's not something we actually have on our list either. So that is a great idea. We obviously have Quizatry, so we would hopefully be able to tie up that into the membership site. One membership site per domain is how it works at the moment. So if you're wanting to have two separate industries, for example, you would need to have two separate domains for each one. You wouldn't be able to have two different membership sites on that one domain. So you'd have to create a new domain for that to work. Okay, any last questions before we wrap up then? It looks like we're about at the bottom of the list. Just before I go, thank you all, those of you who stuck with me to the end. I really hope that it's been useful for you and that you've enjoyed it. Certainly enjoyed presenting, and I'm hoping that it's been useful, yeah, and you guys could have got like a nice insight into how membership works and what you can do with them. You're welcome, Alec. Thanks for coming. Cheers, guys. Thank you all for the kind messages. Okay, so I'm gonna end the call now, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. And as I say, there'll be a replay in the knowledge base at the start of next week. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will catch you all again very soon. Bye-bye.